Hi guys, welcome to Youth Meeting today. So we have a careers panel coming to join us. We have Diana, Bishoy, Joanna, Noise, Carlos. So the way it'll work is everyone's going to introduce themselves for 30 seconds. Tell us about your name, what you do, everything. Just 30 seconds, just briefly. And then there's like questions that we've picked out. So they're going to pick random questions and then answer them. But you guys have the opportunity to ask other questions. So there's going to be a QR code on the screen. So just if you want to submit any questions, feel free to do so. And then we'll answer them at the end, depending on the time we have. So without further ado.
Hi. Hi everyone, I'm Diana Vera, as everyone knows. I work in IT. I work specifically for NatWest, the bank, but I work in their IT team in the bank. I manage a number of people in the team, and we do what's called third level support. So we do all the applications in the bank, like if you do your mobile banking, your internet banking, ATMs, all that kind of stuff. There's a whole team of people that do payment support. My team specifically do support for the payments application that do all the big payment stuff. So if someone wants to put, I don't know, £20,000 in their mortgage or whatever, there's a system specifically for it. We handle those. So if anyone's 20,000 doesn't go through, we have to work out why. Or actually it's a lot more in millions. So in essence, that's what I do. I joined since I graduated, 2005. So this year I'll make 20 years in the bank. That's me.
Your qualification, please.
Oh yeah, sorry. I did a BA in System Analysis and Design at Brighton University. I'm not a programmer by any means at all. So well done to, I think it's Rob who's doing some engineering, computer science. I can't do that. So I went for a more of an arts degree than a science degree, but they all work really well. So mine's a bit more of a system analysis, business analysis, so business as well as IT. There you go.
Hi everyone, I'm Bishgad. I'm a pharmacist. I studied MPharm, the degree you need to become a pharmacist. And then I worked in community pharmacy, which is like the shop pharmacy, for a couple of years or so. And then I ended up in GP surgery. So I'm like a clinical pharmacist at the moment. And yeah, I think that's me.
Prescribe. Prescribe.
Did you prescribe it?
Yeah, I did, after...
About like 7 of them.
Yeah, I did a bit of career progression. So there was this foundation pharmacist program for a year afterwards, which I did. Then there was this 18-month one for GP specifically, which I did. And then there's this prescribing course, which I did. And then in 2 days' time, I'm starting a 3-year part-time master's at Surrey University for advanced clinical practice.
When did you graduate?
3 years.
When did you graduate?
Oh, first time?
Yep.
2019.
Amazing.
August 2019.
That's a lot of degrees.
That's their mic.
That's a lot of degrees.
Okay.
Just before COVID.
Yeah, 6 years old. 6 years too much, but yeah, 6 years.
Well done.
My name is Joanna. I work I just started a new role today, actually.
Full name.
Joanna Bokta. I worked as a manufacturing program specialist in the aerospace industry. It's a fancy name.
You did what again?
Manufacturing program specialist, so program specialist, but in the manufacturing side of things. But today I started a new role as a business analyst.
Congratulations.
Same company, thank you. Just different department. I used to work in the mission systems, so defense. Now I work with network and aviation. And I'm studying still project management. I'm doing it alongside work, and yeah.
Sorry, I have one question. Are you doing Prince or? Are you doing Prince or?
APM chartership. I'll talk about it later.
Fab.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Carlos, also Carlos. I am a
Full name.
Carlos Agladius. So I've graduated in 2019. I'm also a pharmacist, graduated from pharmacy. So I'm basically just a self-employed pharmacist in community pharmacy. And then I did aesthetics for a bit, and then I became a prescriber. I also do photography as well. So I have some different things. Just basically self-employed pharmacist. I don't really know what I'm doing with my career now, but other than that, that's all I've been doing so far.
Same year.
And sorry, when did you graduate?
2019.
Same year.
2019.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
Did the exam.
That's it. We finished. Shall we go home? Is that okay? Right?
We have some questions for you guys. So we have some questions for you. So do you want to pick the first one? So what we'll do is we'll do it in order. So starting with Diana, you answer the main question. The main answer for that question.
Yep.
But if anybody wants to kind of add something, they can. But yeah, instead of everyone answering like the question 4 times, I think it's better if we just kind of do as many questions as possible. So yeah, if you'd like to start.
They should have told us earlier. No, they did. Sorry. Okay, let's read. What impact do you hope your career...
Sorry, question number, just so we bring on.
Oh, right. Question number 28. Yes, carry on. Yeah, okay. What impact do you hope your career has on the wider community? It's about the only question I didn't have an answer on. I'm going to go personally with the wider community being work. That's just the people who we influence. That's what I'm going to go with, and us here in church. Me personally, when I first started, I just went because it's work. I didn't think I'm a Christian who went to work. I went to work. In time, I realized that the outings they do, the culture at work, things like that, made me realize I should be making. I am different. So I used to go. They all go for the pub. They all go for drinks. And then I'm like, this is really not my scene. And a lot of the times, there are people who I respect, and when they drink, I lose respect for them because their behavior changes. So I decided to start saying to people, you guys go, I'll catch you up for the meal, I'll meet you up later. It's just not me. And in time, I became more confident in saying that because that's who I am. I wasn't putting a picture on or trying to be better than them or whatever. It wasn't me. So I felt like that allowed me to make an impact to these people. And now they know. They say, guys, Diana won't join us for drinks. She'll join us later on for a meal. For us in the wider community, I think that the whole purpose of us being here is exactly this, is that you guys can see there is a career in so many different things. Pharmacy gets the biggest name in Brighton, but actually there's quite a lot of combinations out there. Aviation and the work that Joanne's doing is fantastic, and it's very unique in what it is. There's so many avenues out there. I think we can make a difference here with us within the church. And again, with the people that you work with, they can tell by our behavior, by our style, that we are different. And I say things like, I just went to early morning mass on Wednesday. I'm going to like Friday school, and they were like, what's Friday school? Because they didn't get it, because they get Sunday school. So I'm like, okay, it's Sunday school on Fridays. So I think that's how I feel we're making an impact. And me personally, just because it's IT and I'm biased, I think IT is in everything and anything. When I was applying for my placement year, I applied to BMW, as well as like Microsoft, Apple, all those ones. I applied to like Debenhams. Debenhams had an IT program. So IT is in everyone, in manufacturing, in clothing, in Tesco's, in whatever. So I think IT has such a variety. So that's me.
Face this
Thanks,
towards you.
Diana. Did anyone else want to add anything to that question? You don't have to. Do you have anything to
Just
add?
set your boundaries and don't, like Diana said, like don't be afraid to set your boundaries and stick by it. So the drinking culture is a big thing at work. And if you set a boundary, they will test it. So when you set it, make sure you stand firm, because if you do wiggle a little bit, they will see that, oh, like she does go out for drinks. She does drink more than, well, drink at all. So just make sure you stand firm on those boundaries that you've set at the beginning. But yeah.
I just want to add something, but I kind of want to tackle it from a different perspective. And I think a lot of times we think that the career choice dictates how much of an impact you make on a day-to-day life, and it's completely incorrect. You can make an impact in any career in your life. So I'm a pharmacist, and so naturally you help people out. But there's good pharmacists, there's bad pharmacists, there's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's good nurses, there's bad nurses. You know, it's not just a default, you're a healthcare professional, you're helping people out. And there's like this story, I don't know how deep I'm supposed to get with all of this stuff, but there's this story about a kid who went to his father and he said, Dad, I want a job. So his dad got him a job in a grocery store. So he's literally just, bagging items, putting stuff in bags, that's it, just scanning things at the cashier. And then one day he came back to his dad and he said, Dad, I want to make an impact. And he's like, you're in a grocery store, just say, have a good day, God bless, the simple stuff. But he was like, no, I want to make a real impact. So he started writing these notes up, And every day in the grocery store, whenever he'd bag somebody's groceries, he'd put this word of the day. The kid's name was called Johnny. So it was Johnny's word of the day. And then one day, aisle 2 was completely packed. And so somebody got on the mic that was working there, and he's like, why is everybody in aisle 2? You know, aisle 1 is completely free. And all the people went to aisle 2 just because they wanted to hear Johnny's word of the day. And it even came to the point where some people didn't even need a loaf of bread, but they would go into the shop, buy a loaf of bread, just so they could get his message from that day. And it was this little child who made such an impact from such a simple thing, just bagging groceries. So it's not necessarily your career that defines whether you make an impact. As a Christian, you should be making an impact. You should be successful because you are a reflection of Christ. And so you can do that in any career base. But that's down to you. You choose whether you want to make an impact or not and reflect the Christ that's inside of you.
Oh, you to read your question. Thanks, Besh. Do you want to open your question?
Oh, gosh. Question 10. What do you wish you had learned earlier in your career? That's deep.
You wanted to go deep?
Sorry, I missed the question. What was it? Sorry.
What do you wish you had learned earlier in your career?
She wants you to face this one, this one.
I don't know.
I listened.
Yeah.
Did you not see the
Shall I say why I don't have an answer? I didn't actually want to do pharmacy originally. You know, pharmacy is completely outside of my comfort zone. I really like maths. And so I applied and I actually had an offer to study maths at Royal Holloway, but I never ended up taking it because I never really knew what I was going to do with maths. And I also like chemistry, so maths and chemistry, naturally you go towards pharmacy, and it's the Arab agenda, you know. So I ended up in pharmacy. So I was quite happy to go with the flow at an early age. I wasn't so hard-headed, basically. I was quite moldable at an early stage. But even though I was quite moldable at an early stage, I take great pride in anything I do. So anything I do, I'm going to be the best at it. So that's why I do all these other things, just so I can be the best that I can be at that role. That makes sense.
Do I have to answer this question?
If you have a comment.
Yeah, slightly. I'm still learning it because I'm very early on. But I'm learning, like, not to wait to feel ready sometimes. Like, it's okay if you don't feel ready. If there's an opportunity, go for it and you'll grow into it. And that's, like Bish was saying, it was, you know, his degree and everything was so out of his comfort zone. Everything I'm doing is out of my comfort zone, but that's fine because I'm growing into it and I'm learning to like it. So just to answer that question, yeah, just grow into things and take those opportunities even if you don't feel ready.
Okay, next question.
Josh?
Oh, I've been talking too much. The question is, 27, who were your role models or mentors and how did they shape you? I want to say my mum and dad, but I have very specific reasons. My dad, he's a very hardworking man. I'm sure all of our dads are very hardworking, but Baba goes above and beyond for his work. And even more so some of you might know, I was born and raised in Egypt. My dad's major was agriculture engineering, and he worked in his career, you know, he had his career for a little while in Egypt, and then he started businesses that he can be able to run from abroad. And when he came here, although he could just stay at home because he has work in Egypt, you know, the language barrier, he could have just chose to stay at home, but he still pushed himself and he went out there and did whatever he could just so he can not be lazy and be an example for us at home. And yeah, he's a very, very, very hardworking man, and I learn from him every day. And then my mum, because she is very faithful in everything that she does. You know the verse where it says, I don't want to butcher the verse, but it basically says how if you're faithful in the little, you'll be faithful in the bigger stuff. And my mum is very much like that. She's very faithful in everything, and she might not be out and working, working in a job every day, but she's faithful in her work at home. And I've learned that from her, that at home, if I'm faithful at the stuff that I do for BT at home, I'm going to be faithful at the stuff that I do in my job. Yeah.
Any of our other panelists want to add anything? Okay, next question.
Yeah, my question is number 6. It says, how have you evolved personally and professionally since starting your career? We'll start with the personal side of things. I reckon the avenue that I took, so I took a different route to Bish, for example. So I just started off self-employed as a pharmacist. So as a self-employed person, you don't really know, sometimes you don't know if you're going to work or not. So you have to there's so many factors that play into it. But sometimes, for example, I won't be working, and that can either stress you out. But personally, it really taught me how to just trust in God for my next shift or for money, really. I'll try my best, but then a lot of the times it's God actually providing. So it's to a point where I don't really stress about it anymore, because I know God is going to provide. So literally, there could be a week where I have no jobs, for example, and then the week after I'll have loads or whatever. Anyway, God provides, regardless whether it's in photography or whatever. He just provides a way, basically. So I think in that sense, yeah, personally, it's helped me like that. Professionally, so I'm someone that tries to do loads of stuff. So I'll do courses here. So that's why I did an aesthetics course. I try to find different avenues within pharmacy, because sometimes you can be in pharmacy, you can feel like it's just a dead end, and that's how I felt for a long time, until you just have to kind of be optimistic and try to find things within your field. So I did aesthetics, and then I did prescribing. And even me and Bish, for example, we did prescribing, but we use it in completely different ways. So there's ways out there. So the reason I'm saying that is that regardless of what you go into, it can feel like a dead end, but there's always going to be ways and things to progress professionally. And sometimes you have to be a bit creative. So I think that's what I would say.
The only thing I just want to add, more of on a professional sense, when I first started, the way I'd write emails at university is just, I'm don't mean like that, very childish. It's just very, I learned in time with work how to even structure my emails, how to word them, how to make my points come across in a very clear, structured way. And again, I'm not being rude in any way. English still for us is still a second language. It's still not our first language. But I found a lot of people that comment about how some of my written communication is stronger than other people who are British born and bred. So that's something to me that really made a difference. The way that we come across, the way that we present ourselves, basic communication, whether we do it verbally, how we do things in meetings. And again, Zoom over the last 4 or 5 years after COVID became a really big thing, but just generally how you hold yourself in a meeting, how you get your points across, how you comment, how you document things, how you structure. A lot of that stuff I definitely learned throughout the years. When I first started, it wasn't anywhere near as strong, and it became better. And actually that helps, because that helped me progress in my career and helped me grow, because they can see that, what you're saying makes sense. They can see that you're getting your point across really well. You're eloquent, you're good. And a lot of that you'll hear people talk about, for example, interviews, how people come across in interviews. Sometimes they're like, I'm gonna be like, and you just learn. So a lot of that as well has affected how I communicate at work. But a lot of that's also fed into things that I just do, how we do things in church. Just like when we're younger, we just tell each other, you should be doing this, you just say. You learn at work, you can't do that. You have to think about what you're saying, how you're saying it, who you're saying it to. And actually, I find that that's also affected what I do in service, and part of what I do in service, how I then communicate at work as well. So I found that you grow a lot at work because of that as a person, actually, as a person, as well as professional. So.
Can I just ask you a question
Sure.
on that? So you're saying about writing emails and correspondence and everything. So what are your thoughts on using ChatGPT in a professional setting or as a student and relying on it?
I was going to read you the question, but I'll read you the question and I'll link it as well. I'm the most anti-person to ChatGPT in my life, so I will apologize in advance for all those ChatGPT advocate people out there in the world. God gave us an ability and a skill and a talent. It's not a machine, and a machine shouldn't. If you so wish to use ChatGPT to help, to generate ideas, to generate suggestions, to even generate how you're going to word it, how you're going to present it, how you're going to whatever, 100%. There are tools out there. For example, I'll just link it again to medicine. We're sick. There's now something called antibiotics. When I'm ill, I'll go and get an antibiotic. Absolutely. I'm not going to just say that and I just sit there and just die because I get it. But if I end up using AI to the point that I no longer use my brain, I no longer think, I no longer express my own personality and character in my emails, then you've lost who you are. What's the point of you even, no offense, of going to university, of studying, of working, of doing anything? Because in my opinion, that's made people lazy. I'm very sorry if I'm a bit too blunt about this. I don't think it's okay to have a computer write your emails for you. You have a brain, you have intelligence, you have a gift. You should be using your talents, your gifts, your abilities to do that. Can I say to ChatGPT, here's my content of a document. Can you please put that in a PowerPoint for me? Actually, yeah, that's okay, I get that, because it can have some really nice graphics, it has really nice imagery, it can create it in a structure. But the content is yours, it's your mind. In IT, we have something called intellectual property, your intellectual property rights. It was people who designed the Samsungs or the Apples. People designed this. A machine didn't do this, they designed it. This is your intellect. Why am I giving that to ChatGPT? Why? You've got your own abilities. So can we use these things? Absolutely, the tools are out there. They're for us to use, 100%, but they are not there to replace you, because otherwise God could have said, "Khalas, just get rid of everyone else, I'll just create robots." That's not who he did. That's personally.
Can I just add, just because of that question, I think it stunts your professional growth as well. So if you start relying on it at a young age, there's a lot of learning that you won't do because you're so reliant on AI to kind of do things for you, and your writing, your level of writing is not improving, it's not getting better, it's not getting more professional because you're so reliant on it.
I just want to add, I'm going to be so transparent here. I used to use ChatGPT all the time, okay? I still do for some things, but when you get AI, regardless of, when you get it to write your messages, your emails, your everything, you forget how to do anything. I went through a phase of, so I don't know if anyone here that has an iPhone, there is the word, writing tools, and you can proofread, make it friendly, make it professional and stuff. And I relied on this for so long, okay? And at one point, I forgot how to write a message, and I didn't know where the comma went, realistically, honestly. And I had to sit down and be I did really well in English, what's wrong with me? And I realized I've been relying on something to write everything for me for a very long time, and I stopped it completely. I had to go cold turkey, ChatGPT. But I'm back using it again, but just for content ideas or rephrasing or, okay, here's this. Does this make sense, and why not? And if not, why not? Always ask it this. Don't say fix this for me or rewrite this for me. It's does it make sense? And it will tell you why. But yeah, sorry, quick rant.
And I'm just going to link it to the question that I had, and very fitting. Number 21. How do you see your industry changing in the next 10 years? Obviously, whether it's IT or not, the world is going to change forward. Is the new world AI? Yes, it is. It's artificial intelligence. I get it. And can I say that that's where the future is going to be? Part of the future will be artificial intelligence. Yes. I'm just going to make a small point about that. AI will never replace you as a human being, because the person you need to go to a doctor to tell you this or that, or how about this, how about that. We all use, I Google, how do I get rid of this and how do I do that? Absolutely, 100%. But the human element can never be taken away. In IT, I need someone to build a server. Yes, AI can help me code. Yani you can say to variations rather than ChatGPT, with other AI tools, write me a program that does this. It can. It's very basic programming. It's nowhere near. It will need someone to actually take it and refine it. And we've tried it at work. So at the bank, we're trying to use AI tools to help us with various things. One of them is writing code. Very basic, doesn't get anywhere near, and it still needs a human being. Someone that needs to build a server. Someone that needs to build your network. Someone that needs to do, you need it, right? Even now, surgeries, some can be done by a robot, but you still need a surgeon, and you're still going to need them there. There's a lot that us as humans is needed. But yes, there is progression. We have tools now where we need to do something called testing. We build a new program, and we test, has it got any bugs or broken or whatever. People used to say, okay, I'm going to break it here and create. We used to manually try and break the system. There's now an application for testing. It's there, it goes in, funny enough, it's called Chaos Monkey Testing. It's very funny. If you guys ever looked it up, Netflix have a white paper, like a document, they've built on chaos testing. How do they ensure that you have streaming all the time? What they do is they try and break their systems and do it. But not human beings doing it, an application is. So is automation the future? Yes, there is. Is AI there? Yes, it is. Is there progressions in IT? Yes, there is. Before the year 2000, you're probably all too young, but basically we never had this. You guys don't know how, you've never seen life without a phone, but us and even probably less everyone or whatever, we used to have a payphone. You know payphone? Probably I've never seen you in your life. We take a 10p coin and put it in the machine. They don't exist anymore. The world is progressing, absolutely, and it's amazing and it's the future and it's great, but I personally feel that with AI and with where the future is going, it needs us. It's not the world's just not gonna just magically exist on its own. That's just a bit about linking about the AI bit that Christina said and where we see things in 10 years' time. Don't know if you guys have anything about, I don't know about aeronautics. I don't know what you think the future is gonna be with aeronautics. I'm not sure, because I think that whole world's amazing, but I'm a geek a bit. No? Oh, sorry.
Are we going to need farmers?
Yeah, no one listens.
Oh,
Probably not, to be honest.
I'm ready to retire.
you're ready to retire? You're way too young to retire. Go ahead.
Okay. My question is number 3. Were there any key moments or turning points that shaped your career path? I always struggled academically as a child. I was never the smartest by far. Like, I was good with numbers, but everything else, shocking. The only thing that I really had was that I was hardworking. And I remember so clearly trying and failing. And trying and failing, and trying again and failing and failing and failing. Or not failing as in, like, an F or a U or whatever, but like to the point where it wasn't to the standard that I needed it to be for my future career. And I just remember one day, like, I didn't do anything new. One day it just clicked. I didn't do anything new, but my grades suddenly went from just about passing, just a bit above passing, to like the top grade. Just literally, it felt like it happened overnight. I tried the same thing every single time and it didn't work out, but just one day it worked out. And since it worked out, like, thank God it's not gone back. Like, you just get used to studying, you get used to putting your head down, you get used to doing the work, you get used to organizing your life, you get used to knowing what you're bad at, what you're good at, how to delegate time towards. So like in pharmacy, we have maths exams. I was pretty decent at maths. I knew I wouldn't need to spend much time, but some of the other content, which I was weaker at, I need to spend more time. And so you kind of understand yourself as time goes on. But the one thing that didn't change was hard work. And it just made sense over time. I don't know what turning point happened or when it happened, but things just make sense if you persevere.
Just a quick reminder, guys, if you want to submit questions, feel free to do so. If you have any burning questions, it's the time to do it now, because we haven't had any yet. So they're all anonymous, so you don't have to worry about us reading out your names or anything. So,
Joe, go ahead.
Okay, question 13. How has your relationship with God shaped the way you work and make decisions? I think at work there's there's a lot of opportunities to have integrity and to show kindness and to show love to people, especially in the pharmacy. So I think, you know, there's definitely things where it shapes my decisions in the ways that I could take the shortcut and do something maybe not illegal, but like maybe not good practice, for example. And illegal as well, but obviously you just choose not to do these things, and honestly, it gives like a better example for everyone else just to work with integrity, and also just to like kindness, because a lot of crazy people come in. Sorry, actually, no, a lot of people come in to the pharmacy that are not okay. Like they're actually probably hurting behind closed doors, or they're probably in a really bad state, and it shows up as anger, or like they insult you or whatever. Like it could come across in other ways. And at face value, you can either you can choose to react the same way, or choose to like gossip about them after or whatever. And I fall into that trap as well sometimes. But then you just kind of try to like show them love as well, and not really talk about them when you go back into the pharmacy, etc. I think that I think that helps me as well. And also, there's a lot of negativity in the world, so I think my relationship with God actually helps me get through the day, just to be like level-headed, or just to be just happy, because a lot of things can steal your joy. A lot of things that you can see in the world can actually steal your joy. So I think your relationship with God is really important in the workplace, because it allows you to get through the day, depending on where you work. But for me, it allows me to get through the day.
A question? Yeah. So my question is question 30. And it's, what one piece of wisdom would you pass on to young people just starting out?
So is it 30 or 30?
30.
30, okay.
Yeah. Not necessarily wisdom, but network. If you have an idea of the industry that you want to go in, network, go to events, look up events, improve some skills that you might already have or you want to learn that you know you may need in your industry and your career. You know, digital literacy like Excel, all these basic stuff that you brushed in school. Get on it. That it helped me loads. I feel like when I started at work, I really didn't know how to use Excel, and it's all I use, and I hate it so much. But learn how to use these kind of things. But definitely network. Networking is such a good thing. I don't know, get a LinkedIn account, and then post every time you get you do some sort of qualification. But yeah.
The only thing I'll add is, life isn't easy. You have to work hard. You have to persevere. It's needed. But I found that the more that you work hard and you persevere and you really, I can't think of the exact right word for it, but like when you're really committed, it really makes a difference. Someone said, yeah, no, I tried, it didn't work, and I tried, it didn't work. I understand. When I first came to apply for my placement year, not even my role right now, I applied to like 10 different roles. I went to like 10 different interviews. I went to like lots of things. There's ones where we traveled to Kent to have an interview done. And you're like, and I get it, but I think is that persevering, that keeping going, it really will pay off. That's the only other thing I'll say is it's not easy, but when you do it, it pays off, and there's a reward behind it. So.
And like, don't be afraid to apply for things. Like I had someone at work that said to me, didn't know how to take that comment, but he basically said, women don't apply for enough things because they read the description and they get so scared that they don't have X, Y, and Z, and they only have about 17 of the things on the list, so they don't apply. But men apply for anything and everything, and that's why they get hired. I don't know how much, but that triggered me. And now when I see something and I want it, although I might not have the qualification or the skills necessarily, I still apply for it, and I see what happens when it comes. But yeah, apply for things.
You want to add? No. Question number 24. How do you measure success in your career and life overall? I'll be honest, I'm really blessed at work. I really like what I do. I've really always enjoyed it ever since I did my placement year and ever since I did my placement year in the bank and then I worked. Success generally is for some people financial. And I've got to admit, I'm very well paid. I paid really well. But actually that didn't just happen. That happened after a very long time. But I personally feel success is when I'm doing something that I really love, something that I'm really passionate about, and something that I really enjoy. Like IT wasn't, like I said, I'm not a big key programmer. I don't code. It's not me. When I came to do my A-levels, I'm like, I'm not really sure what I'm good at. I like IT. I'll just do IT. And then I did leisure and tourism, GMVQ leisure and tourism, really basic stuff. And then I thought, well, I'm not going to really do that. I'll just go into IT. And it was that. But I realized when I was doing it at university, I was enjoying it. When I was doing it at work, I was enjoying it. So I think if measure of success for me is something that I'm doing that I'm really enjoying. I feel like that when I have really good relationships with people, I'm kind of very sentimental. If the people around me at work, if my team is happy and I'm being a good manager for them and I care about them and I have really good relationships with them, that makes me really happy. When I see that in church with service or outside or just, to me, success is being happy, and to me, success is being able to make other people around me happy. So whenever I can help, whenever I can give, whenever I can sacrifice, to me, that's what success is. I know the outside world success also is financial. I don't want to dismiss that. I think if you put the work in, and if you really work hard and you give it your all and you do it, I've been really blessed at work. I went from being a very junior person. I became a manager. I got another third promotion in my career a few years back, and it's made a difference. So financially, as you progress in your career, the finance will come. To me, it's not finance. To me, it's the fact that there are people at work who respect me. There are people who listen to what I say. They respect my opinion. I have a good team. I always say, Dan, we've missed you. How are you? How's this? And, someone saying, I really admired how you said that. I really liked how you said this. I promise I'm not being ego about it. It's nice when you feel that you can make an impact to people because you're able to help and to be a good person and to care and to give. To me, that's what success is in at work and outside. But
First Corinthians 15:10.
First Corinthians 15:10. Ibn Yohanna is my father of confession, and we always say, whenever I always really struggle with like pride as a real big thing, and I would say to Abuna, and Abuna would always quote to me, "It is not I, but God's power who works through me." Sakida? His grace that works through me. I love this verse, and I feel Rabbana has immensely blessed me. Like His grace is incredible. And if we ever get to the difficulties questions, this question around how do you face difficulties, I'll tell you guys a story about work. But I really feel that God's overfilled my life with grace. From the time when we were in Kuwait, there was war in Kuwait, and we then moved to Egypt, and we didn't know where Dad was for like 50 days, and there was no internet, there was no evacuation planes, there was none of this stuff, and you're like, what do we do? And just back to talking about Mum, I had no idea how Mum kept her faith for 50 days, not knowing where in the world Dad is. It's God's grace. God protected him. To come here, it's grace. To be able to be successful. Again, I'm really not academic at all. I got like B's and C's, and thank God. A lot of it is God's grace. And because He's filled with grace, I'm really grateful and very happy for everything He's given. So, sorry. Bishoy.
Oh,
A
yeah.
different question for you, just to make things more exciting. It's a question from one of our youth. It's not coming up.
Oh. You're going to read them, hoping. That one's easy, is it not?
That's good. This one.
Was finding a job in the career that you are doing hard? And if it was, did that discourage you?
Okay, so I told you guys that pharmacy was completely outside of my comfort zone. And I was very to myself. Like Hassan, like I'm at a thought I could speak for the Olympics. But back then I was very to myself. I was very shy. It's like, yeah, can you believe it? So interviews, and to this day, I hate interviews. You know, I can't go there and just sell myself. I'm like, if you want me, take me. If you don't have me. Yeah, literally. So I really hated interviews. So in university, I was doing quite good, and I ended up getting like a first class honors. But the way that pharmacy works for your placement year is that you have to do this thing called Oriel, where you do these different sets of exams which mean nothing really in the real world, and you have to do these silly interviews based on hypothetical scenarios which don't exist in the real. Like, it was all silly to me, but maybe just because I was bad, I'm a bit bitter. And you do all of these things, and they kind of rank you against the whole country, and you kind of pick where you want to go, and they match everybody up, basically. So I really wanted to do something clinical based because that's always what interested me, but wasn't good at the interview. So I didn't get what I wanted to do, which was like a hospital-based or something like that for my training year, and it ended up being community pharmacy. And I really didn't enjoy it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But a lot of that is, humbling, because you have to prove yourself everywhere you go. You can't just say, oh, I got a first class degree at uni, and then you've got, a red carpet going into your next workplace. You have to prove yourself. Then the next workplace, you have to do the same thing. So I did really struggle initially. And then even when I was applying for the clinical role that I'm in now, I didn't get the first one I applied for. But every time you apply for something, use the knowledge, take it to the next one. At one point, I almost had a career change. Not negative against pharmacy, but when I was in my final year of university, I really enjoyed my project that you get to do. I was doing like the lung delivery, using an inhaler to deliver insulin. Basically, insulin you can't take as a tablet because your stomach breaks up the compound, so it has to be injected. And in America, they came up with this like inhaler as an insulin. And I wanted to see if a different insulin would pass through these lung cells. So I had like these lung cells, they were like my little babies, my little children. And I had to like feed them 3 times a week. It was good fun, but I really enjoyed the project that I was going to do a PhD. So while I was in my training year for pharmacy, in the community pharmacy, the bit I didn't want to be in.
In your pre-reg year?
In my pre-reg year, I was applying for different PhDs. And the application process for a PhD, if you've ever done one, is the hardest thing in the entire world. You need a really good CV, you need a cover letter, and they want you to write an abstract based on the research project. So they will give you what the research project is. You have to go do your research, and then the person who it's his or her research project would ask you. So it's nothing you can blag. You have to have actually done the research. So it takes hours to prepare. And God knows how many I applied for. But there was one I applied for, which went quite well, and I was really like keen on doing it. And I was going to finish my pharmacy training and just jump on and do a PhD because I enjoyed it and go into research, that side of my career. And they told me they'd get back to me in like a week, but COVID happened. So I never, all the funding went, downhill. It never really progressed. PhDs weren't really a thing at that time, like new intakes. So that kind of collapsed, but that's just...
Did it discourage you?
It didn't discourage me, it's just life. Not everything goes the way you want it to go. You could try really hard, you could have good intentions, but sometimes things just don't work out for the best in certain ways. And then you just got to do best of what you've got. But yeah, I flopped so many.
Thank you. So for the remaining, we don't have long left, so we've got a few questions and we want to get through them all. So if you guys just try and kind of summarize your advice to people, just so we can get through everything. So Joanna, linking back to what Diana was saying, and also Joanna, is it wrong if you automate your work life with your own effort? For example, I've coded my own AI. It does a lot for me. What would you do?
First of all, well done. I had to reread that for a second. It depends, because what do you mean by automate your work life? Like, what is it doing for you? Is it sending out like email reminders? Or is it, yeah, for example, Miki here, his WhatsApp messages are set. What's it called? Scheduled. There we go. They are scheduled. He writes them, and then he has a schedule that just sets out. He does not send it 400 or 300. No, it's all scheduled. AI, in a sense, or like some sort of coding to send it out. So I don't think that's bad if it's helping you make life a bit easier and, you know, to work around things. But just don't depend on it. And you will know when you're depending on something is when, you know, Diana was talking about like how God's given us a brain and the ability to do some things. Like when you stop using that, that's when you know you've gone a step too far. Like use it, utilize what you've got, but don't be so dependent on it.
And the next question is from Carlo. Do you feel as though it's your responsibility to introduce your colleagues to God and the church? If so, do you feel as though it's your responsibility to introduce your colleagues to God and the church? If so, how would you go about doing it in the workplace?
It's my responsibility. I don't know about responsibility, but I think, well, of course, it's my responsibility to introduce God to everyone. But it's in the workplace. Honestly, I don't really force it on anyone, and I don't really. I'm not like in your face about it because that actually pushes people away, I find. And I actually work with a girl. She's a good friend now, but in the beginning when she found out, she used to be Christian, she used to be Catholic, and then she became atheist. So she doesn't want to hear anything about God. So when she found, obviously she found out I was a Christian, whatever, I saw her in the beginning, she was so against it. And anytime I would mention God, she would just be like, no, she's like, shush. She would just cut the conversation like straight away. But then, and I was like calm about it or whatever. And then I think as she got to know me a bit better and she sees how I act or whatever, then and I start bringing God in certain conversations again. Now, I feel like over the years, her attitude has changed. Like if I speak about God, she won't cut it off straight away. She'll listen to it, and she won't say anything negative. Sometimes she'll be like, she'll start mocking it, or she'll say stuff that's kind of not offensive, but she'll just mock Christianity a bit. But then now she's stopped doing that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's about how you act and not being ashamed of it. So if something comes up, because they know that I turned off like my explicit music off my phone, for example, and things like that. And sometimes like one time, like last week, we wanted to find a song, so I tried to put it on my phone, and I couldn't because the explicit thing was turned off. And they started mocking that. They were like, "Oh, you're so boring," or whatever. And so I started laughing. But then things like that, they know that you're serious about your faith or you're serious about certain things. So I personally think in the long run, it makes a difference. And it's not like they view me any different way. Like everyone has their own, boundaries. Everyone has their own thoughts and their own ideas, and everyone comes to respect that after a while. So I think it's mainly by the way you act and not being ashamed of it when you are asked. And just try not to be like too forceful on people. I guess that's basically how I do it.
Okay, and the final few questions. Diana, as a young person, I'm always told not to overwork myself and not to do too much at a young age. If you have the opportunity to go back, would you not do the same and use the time you have and energy? What do you want to say?
In a different context, but Joanna mentioned earlier around boundaries. There's a verse that says, wherever Christ went, he did good. Everywhere he went, he did good. He didn't say, he didn't do that. He didn't like, I'm tired today. He didn't do that. Wherever he went and he did good. However, He also, at the end of his day, rested, went to a place went to a mountain and prayed and rested. Life needs a balance. Life can't be over the top this way and over the top this way. It can't be that I'm just lazy, it'll just happen. Can't do that. And you can't work yourself so much to the point that you're getting sick and getting ill and whatever, because that is going to negatively impact what you do. So would I be saying as young people, should you work hard? Yes. I work hard. We all work hard. Abuna works hard. You have to work hard. That's what commitment and dedication and perseverance is all about, is to keep going. People, very not me, people who go to the gym. I think the gym is the most boring thing in the world. But actually, the gym's hard work. That's still work. And you do it. You do it to build your muscles, for your cardio, for your health, for your whatever. You do it, so it's important. But if someone is saying to me, I'm going to the gym for 7 hours at a time, I'll be like, stop. Because that's damaging, not building. So should you, as a young person, should you, where's it gone? Told myself to not overwork myself, not to do, Should I use my energy? Yes. Should you work and do things? Yes. Don't overwork. That's the question that was said there around, should I overwork myself? You shouldn't overwork. And you're doing too much, it's damaging. But you should work hard, you should persevere, because when I work hard, when I persevere, as an example, all these people, in all their studies and all their educations, they worked hard, they persevered. None of these degrees are easy, but because they did, they've been able to be successful people. So yes, you do need to work, you need to be committed, but it's not about overworking. And equally, it's not about saying, malish, it's okay. It's not about being lazy either. There has to be a boundary. There has to be a balance. There has to be time when you give yourself rest. Christ rested. But you also have to make sure that you are working hard. So it's about the balance, I think. Sorry.
Thanks, Diana. And Bishoy, what do you regret doing or not doing in your early career or education? Have you already answered that question?
Yeah, that was my...
You have, okay. I want to give this one to Joanna because she's the youngest, I think. Are the youngest panelists? Sorry, guys. Is it, what's harder, uni or A-levels?
I didn't do normal A-levels. I did mechanical science.
You did what?
I did mechanical science, physics, and mechanical math. A-levels were harder. I'm not using any of my A-levels right now for my uni degree. I'm doing project management. So you just have to know how to waffle your way through a project. No, A-levels are harder, but they do prep you for first year of uni. I did go to Sussex Uni and I did first term of mechanical engineering. And from my little tiny experience there, I can tell you that what I did for my A-levels is basically what you do first year uni. That being said, it doesn't mean that you don't study or don't, get the grades that you need in your A-levels because you know you're going to do it in uni. If anything, work really hard and get good grades in your A-levels because it's going to make it easier for your first year in uni. But I'm talking engineering-wise. I don't know about the rest.
Carlos, what was it like second, third, fourth year pharmacy? Because I agree up to first year, and then I disagree.
No, I was going to add to that, to be fair, but I think A-levels is way harder than uni because, I don't know why, because I can't remember actually, but I know for a fact that it was harder because in uni, the hard part about uni is that the workload that you have a lot of work to do, and it's about managing your time and getting through it all. I think that's the hardest part of uni. But to be honest, pharmacy wasn't that hard, as in it was just a memory game, to be honest. You just have to kind of memorize stuff. And that's literally, I think that mainly a lot of courses might be like that. But yeah, I think A-levels was way, way harder, in my opinion.
And and I'm not saying I totally disagree. A-levels does prepare you for university, I agree. Some people do find A-levels harder. A-level runs for 2 years. University for some years it's 4, and some people it's 5. And I personally feel, yes, year 1 of IT, fairly okay. When we got to year 2, year 3, year 4, what we were studying was so intense in IT that and it wasn't necessarily a memory game, some of it was. So again, sorry Rob, because we say it, but if Rob's going to start doing programming, year 2, year 3, networking, computer engineering, computer science, very hard. It's very hard. But A-levels are a jump because where you are from GCSEs to A-levels, that is a jump. It's hard because it's really getting you into what it means to get to the depth of what you need. But I feel, and depending on the course, sometimes you go to university, second, third, fourth years, I think they're hard. The time management and the amount of work is 100% there. The workload's more, but I still find there are deeper topics that we covered in IT, more at A-levels than we did at, more at university than we did at A-levels. Sorry.
Thank you, Diana. I just want to take this opportunity. Does anybody have any other questions they want to ask before we close off? No? Our panelists will be here, obviously, so you can come and ask them personally if you want more in-depth. Oh, there is one person, of course, Marco.
Of course, it's Marco. Go ahead.
Are you happy with your work life and the balance of your life with it as well? Or do you feel like you're a bit unshifted?
Sorry, before Bish answers, he's a superhero, so whatever answer he's about to give is so unrealistic.
I talked earlier on about like hard work, and you should 100% be the hardest working person you can be, because that's all you can do at the end of the day. But your career, although it's a large proportion of your life, it's not your entire life. Like, I go into work, I work super hard while I'm at work. Best believe as soon as I leave work, that's it. My work is gone. That's it, I'm on to the next chapter. That's really important, because I know so many people that they'll go on a holiday, they'll take their work phone. They'll go to sleep at night and they're thinking about a possible error that they made a few hours ago. It drives these people crazy. It's not good for you. It's not to say that you're not passionate about work, because you should be passionate about what you do, because it's what you do. And if you're going to do something, do it properly, otherwise why are you there? What's your purpose, if we're getting really that deep? But you need to know how to turn, switch off. Best believe at night, I sleep like a baby. If something's keeping me up at night, it's definitely not work. It's definitely, because I just go in there, I do the best I can, and then I leave.
Do we have an opposing opinion? Does anybody have a different opinion that they want to share?
Are you saying, do we enjoy life?
Do you have a work-life balance? Do you have work-life balance?
A good work-life balance. A good work-life balance. Yeah, I actually do. Personally, I actually do have a good work-life balance, because I work part-time. So,
That's it? I mean, I agree with what Bish said, but at the same time, he said he goes to, if he goes on holiday or he goes to bed, he does not think about work. But at the same time, when you are at work, do not let the outside things distract you, because I will often find myself editing a reel for the media team. Just I've got a minute, for my next meeting or whatever, and I find myself really getting into it, or distracted by messaging my friends or thinking about what I'm going to do after. The only thing you should be thinking about during your work day is your work and what you're going to eat. And God, but that's the thought that really occupies my mind is at 12, what am I going to eat? But I think, do I have a work-life balance? I'm still getting there. I think when you start, you kind of want to do everything. You want to work, you want to see friends, you want to go to church, you want to go to the gym, you want to wake up early, you want to meal prep, and it's just impossible. So sometimes I come back after work and I decide if I want to eat, shower, or go to sleep. So you have to pick one every day. Shower. You get there and you learn how to manage your time. I'm still learning, to answer your question. Yeah. Yana?
Yes. I work very hard at work. I work very hard outside of work. If God's given me an ability, and I say a lot more than, I say it to a lot. I'm not married, and I think that's an amazing thing for me. Well, I do, because I feel like I can do stuff for work really heartedly. I work heartedly, it says, for the Lord. I work outside and I do that, and I do definitely switch off and do this. And there are days you can't. I'm on call. I keep looking at my phone because I think someone's going to call me. So there's those days like that. But generally, there is a separation, and I live this life fully and this life fully, and I think it's all God's grace. But I do agree that if you have a lot of things you need to do, as long as you organize your life, you can hopefully shower and eat and sleep, you'll get that then.
I got there eventually.
You get that,
guys.
see? You can do that. Can we get Miki to answer that? No.
Any other questions, guys? Okay, can we have 30 seconds from each panelist? Just advice for this age group. What do you guys think?
Start that way and answer.
Yeah, it's fine. Whoever wants to start. Carlos?
My advice would be to work hard and stay consistent in what you're doing, regardless if you see results straight away or not. But just know that even if you fail at doing stuff, in that failure, you can either look at it as a failure or you can look at it as an opportunity to develop a new skill or to bring that to the next step of your life. So nothing actually is a failure. Even though it might look like a failure from the outside, it won't be a failure. So as long as you stay consistent in working hard and actually finding a way, then you'll make it at the end. And God will, and obviously, to be honest, just trust in God with your career. And like God will actually use your failures and use the things that you've learned throughout your life into the next stage. And it will prepare you and it will prepare you. So it's mainly trusting in God and having that relationship with Him, because at the end of the day, we can't control everything. It's not all in our hands. So you have to actually give things to God at the end of the day.
Just building on to that, every rejection, it's going to sound so cheesy, but every rejection is a redirection. So it's not necessarily a no, it's a no, like another route. I think some of us get really discouraged when we do get a no or a bad grade or, just a door shutting in our face. But a door shutting means another one opening, and your job is to push that door and see if it's going to open or not. So, like I said at the beginning, just because you don't feel ready, no, take the opportunities and you will grow into them, or you'll find other ones. But yeah.
I just have a couple of quotes. The first one is, there's an old person that's living inside of you, that's relying on you to make the best decisions in your strongest years. So every one of us will grow up, and when you're grown up, you don't have the energy to do the things that you want to do, and you're relying on the decisions you've made as a young person when you've had that energy. So use your youngest years wisely. The second one is that success is about yourself and significance is about others. So don't waste your life being successful over things which are not significant. Life is more than just about you.
Explain that to me, the significance. And sorry, I didn't, Yani, shouldn't I focus on what is significant and...
So when you think about success is literally, well, there's different definitions of success, whether it's money, whether it's how skillful you are, like the best photographer, for instance, or whether you're the richest person, whatever. Significance isn't just about you, it's about those around you. So don't waste your life just being successful over yourself. Like, there's no point having the most successful career and having no time for your family. You're not significant. You're not a significant member to your family, to your community, to your society. You're just successful in your own field. So don't be just successful, be significant.
Just a really small story. Really early on in my career, about 4 or 5 years into the bank, I was being made redundant. So were a number of people in the company. Everyone in a certain grade, the lowest grade in the bank, they're all being made redundant. And there was me and another person. And the bank gave us 6 months and then said within 6 months we'd leave. But in that 6 months, they'll help us find a job and everything else. I decided that I'm still working, I'm still getting paid, so I went to work, I did what I needed to do, I helped out, everything else. And in essence, what they were doing is they're moving our work to teams in India. And part of what we needed to do is train the guys in India the work we do. I could have said, you know what, well, why am I training them? They're taking my job. I don't know who these people are. I don't really care about them. I've worked really hard. I've been really faithful. Why is this happening to me? You know what, just forget about it. Do my 9 to 5 and not care. I decided, well, no, that's not the right attitude and the right mindset and the Christian mindset. No, I'm still working. I'm still getting paid. I'm still going to work really hard. And actually, a month later into the announcement, they said they were sending people to India to do our work. My manager said, do you want to go? And I'm like, yes. A's going to India, and it's like business class and everything else, but like, yes. But mum was like, hold on. They've just made you redundant, and they want you to go and teach people your job. And I'm like, yes. She said, so they're paying for the trip? I'm like, yes. So mum couldn't get it. And I completely understand. You're about to make me redundant, why pay? But my leaving date got extended by another 6 months, and then by another 6 months. At the very end of when people were being made redundant, they came and said to my manager, there are one of the 2 roles, one of these people can stay. Who do you want to keep? The other guy was someone who's very technical, like he codes, he programs, very technical. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So, but he said, I want Diane to stay. And they said, we don't understand. He's far more technical. He's far more skilled. And he said, but his attitude from the moment he heard, he couldn't be bothered. He doesn't care about his work. He doesn't have the right, his attitude is not okay. And I want Diana to be able to, because all the work that we're doing around moving the work to India, all the planning, all the work, all the whatever, I got involved in all of it because I'm like, I'm still working. I want to be involved. Why sit there and do nothing? Because of that Christian mindset that we have, that attitude that God gave us, because it's not me, it's God. I remained, so instead of my junior role, I had a promotion that was a permanent role that had a pay rise. Something that initially, 6 months before or 18 months before, looked like that's the end of my career, at least in the bank. God used it, as you were saying earlier, God used that, maybe that rejection or that failure or that whatever it is, and turned it into something amazing, and it made a huge difference in my life. And 3 years later, I became a manager at work. Again, something that I said to myself, I can never do this role. I could never do it. Everyone says, Diana, we all think you can, you're about the only person who can't. Another 3 years later, I got promotion. And it was all because God blesses it. If your mindset and attitude that even if I fall, I will get up again. This is a verse that says, don't gloat over me, my enemy. That if I fall, I will rise again. And if I'm in darkness, God's my light. You carry on, you persevere, you have that positive mindset. We have this far more than the outside world. A lot of people laugh and say to me, Diana, I want to know what happy pill you're on. There's no such thing, obviously. But I'm just happy at work. I'm joyful. I'm whatever. There's no need to be miserable, right? That, in my opinion, is a gift that if you take with you, you'll do amazing things because God's in your life.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, everyone. We give them a massive round of applause, guys. And so, as you guys know, we have loads of different careers in the church, loads of youth, loads of older people we just got such a wide range of people who have gone into so many different fields. So if you have any specific industry questions about an industry you're interested in, let Miki know, because he's got contacts from last week's careers fair, who he can get you in touch with. So if you have any questions at any point, then make sure you make use of that, because we didn't all have that growing up, so it's a great opportunity for you to use.